Boston Red Sox could have gotten burnt in their negotiations with Alex Bregman due to their tactics. I'm here to break down all of the new information that we have on the subject right now on this episode of Red Sox Digest. But before we get to the news, remember, if you're a part of the 86.5% currently watching this video, not currently subscribed to the channel, and want to stay up to date on everything Boston Red Sox, scroll down, click the subscribe button. We do appreciate the 1,500 subscribers, so thank you guys so very much for the love and support. But now let's get to it and break down if the Red Sox got burnt on Alex Bregman. Now, we've discussed this in the past, and really the tactics in which the Red Sox are taking apart to acquire the multiple-time All-Star in Alex Bregman by playing a game of chicken, necessarily. Now, what do I mean by that? We've broken down this in the past, but again, when we were in the conversations with Bregman, and again, the entire idea behind Bregman and the Red Sox was, we know he wants a lot of years, 5, 6, 7-year deal for around $200+ million. Now, obviously, the Astros offered him 6 for $156, which he declined because he was looking for more than that. The Red Sox, as apparently reported and allegedly, aren't going to get up to that number. They're not going to offer him that many years. They're not going to give him $200+ million, and they really were planning on playing a game of chicken, like the JD Martinez deal just a few years prior. And obviously, that worked out for the Red Sox. They were able to get Martinez because all the other possible suitors did not go out there and offer him the money he was looking for. Now, the idea to do that with Bregman seems a little bit scarier and a little bit edgier, and the reason being is because there are a lot of possible suitors to go out and get Alex Bregman, one of them being the Houston Astros. Now, this being Jose Altuve, a lifetime second baseman for the Astros, has said he'll do whatever it takes whatever I have to do for him to stay, I'm willing to do. Again, that is a quote from Jose Altuve, the 14-year second baseman for the Houston Astros, who would even go on to say that he'd play left field in order to get Bregman to return to the Astros. Again, doing whatever it takes in order to get him back to Houston. And then MLB Network discussed Jose Altuve possibly playing left field to bring Bregman back, moving Isaac Paredes to second base. Obviously, they have Pena at short, Altuve in left field, and Bregman at third. Now, obviously, that is not hard constructed. That is just an idea of what the third, or the outfield and really the entire field would look like for the Houston Astros if they were to able to bring back Alex Bregman. Now, obviously, Bregman would most likely be the second baseman. Paredes would probably be the third baseman if I had to guess. But again, the idea of Jose Altuve moving to left field after playing a 14-year career in Houston at second base is something to really take into account. Now, they also went on to break down what this lineup would look like, and obviously it would be terrifying if they were able to bring back someone in Alex Bregman, who has been a very notable piece for this Astros team. Jon Heyman even went on to say Astros are trying to bring back Alex Bregman. They're still willing to do that, at least $156 million for 6 years, but one reason he declined that earlier is it's a cut from $28.5 million salary. There's said another team offering 6 with at least 1 year, first-year opt-out. The money is unknown, among others in the Cubs, the Red Sox, and the Tigers. So again, we don't know who that other team is. I'm going to assume it's not the Red Sox and most likely the Cubs. I think the Cubs are a very scary team in this entire negotiation to go out and steal Bregman from the Red Sox as well as possibly the Astros. Now, obviously, if you don't know, the Astros just moved Presley to the Cubs, obviously freeing up another $14 million, and that's what MLB Network went on to discuss here in the screenshot. Does Ryan Presley's reported trade to the Cubs now open the door for the Astros to bring back Alex Bregman? Now, again, they had this conversation, again, elaborating on the idea that we discussed earlier with Paredes possibly playing second or third, Altuve moving to left field, Jordan moving to DH. So, again, there would be a lot of moving parts for the Houston Astros, but the biggest one would be the fact that they do have the multiple-time Gold Glove at third base returning to their organization to play, again, second, third, wherever they decide to put him. And, again, they would have a surplus of talent. And, again, the Red Sox would then miss out on another key piece, another substantial piece this offseason, again, in Alex Bregman. Now, that is not something we want to see in Boston. Obviously, we would like to see them land a big-name player in someone like Alex Bregman, another right-handed bat who is obviously has the experience, has been around the block, has been to fall classics, made a deep playoff run after deep playoff run with a good organization in the sense of winning, in the sense of the Astros. And again, citing the trade that really does throw out the idea that he could be going back to Houston is this tweet from Jeff Passan. Again, this is the tweet that announces Ryan Pressly to the Cubs. Again, the Chicago Cubs are finalizing a trade to acquire closer Ryan Pressly from the Houston Astros pending medical review. Sources tell ESPN Pressly will waive his no-trade clause to Chicago to facilitate the move, and Houston will send money to help cover his $14 million salary. So again, Pressly going to Chicago opens up the ability to allow the Astros to give Bregman a little bit more money on that contract that he obviously has already been offered at 6 years, $156 million. So again, we can assume that it would be closer to the 6 years, $170 million range in the sense of if we're just adding that 14 on top of that contract. But again, we're not exactly sure what the new contract could look like from the Astros in order to acquire Bregman. But again, it seems it would be substantially higher and really just heavier going to Bregman from the Astros compared to the Red Sox and these other teams that aren't really looking like they're going to budge in this game of chicken that they're currently playing. Obviously being the Red Sox, possibly the Blue Jays, the Cubs, the Tigers, all teams that seem to be involved with Bregman, just unaware on the numbers they are actually offering him. Now, for the Red Sox, this is not good. As we all know, we need a right-handed third baseman. We don't necessarily need, as we do have Rafael Devers, but again, he's not the greatest defensive third baseman. But again, Bregman, we've broken this down before. He has a lot of versatility. He can play second base. He can play third base. He's a right-handed bat. He can balance out this lineup. And again, the experience we just highlighted. He's a well-established player that could really move the needle for this Boston Red Sox team that has failed to go out and pay a single free agent a substantial amount of money this offseason, and really any substantial name this offseason. Now, shout out to Foul Territory on Twitter as they go on to cite Ken Rosenthal from the Foul Territory podcast, as he said, I would bet the Astros in this negotiation. That's the end of the quote from Ken Rosenthal, as he predicts Alex Bregman returning to the Houston Astros. Now, again, out of all people, Rosenthal is very, very credible. And again, for him to say this makes me believe that because of the moves that the Astros are making and the willingness to go out there and attempt to give Bregman at least a little bit more money and offering him the years, at least to some extent, that he's looking for. And again, in the idea that it's not a 4-year deal, that he's getting 6 years from the Houston Astros, really is pushing everyone to believe that Bregman will be returning to the Houston Astros due not only to their abilities, but the inabilities and just the lack thereof of things done from these other teams, specifically the Boston Red Sox, not budging, playing that game of chicken, being hell-bent on getting this guy for their number rather than going out there and paying him what he may be looking for, or it's just something relatively close, whether it comes down to the years offered or the money flat out that is being offered amongst those years. Again, they are failing to go out there and move the needle for Alex Bregman's contract in order to go out and sign someone in Alex Bregman who arguably would push that needle down for this Red Sox team in the best way possible. Again, we mentioned him balancing the lineup, the versatility defensively, as well as just the overall glove, wherever you put him, whether it be at the hot corner in third, or at second base. I know the idea of possibly moving away from someone like Christian Campbell or Marcelo Mayer or whoever it may be, these young guys that we may see in the bigs this up-and-coming season who have the ability to play second base, I understand that. But the ability to add depth, the ability to add an experienced bat, and again, another bat to balance out this lineup would be so substantial for this Red Sox team. I'm unsure why they would just go out there and just do it. Just pay him the money. Go out there and offer him the money. If you get burnt in 3 or in 4 years and he regresses ridiculously and we look very bad in 3 to 4 years due to this signing at whatever position we have him at, again, third or second, again, we live with it then. Offer an opt-out. Put an opt-out or two in that contract. Allow him the ability to get out of there at a certain year. But again, go out there and offer him the money. Don't go down without swinging. And again, that's what it feels like here in Boston when we miss out on players like Alex Bregman in this type of scenario. This is not what we want to see. We need to add more bats. We need to add more talent. And again, we've had a decent offseason up to this point. It has not been a failure by any means. I don't want to say that. I don't want to portray that. But again, if we fail to go out and get a right-handed bat after having so many great names on the market, there is going to be part of this offseason that is going to be considered a failure, and I think this is going to be a large stemming piece of that, if you will. Now, the last thing we're going to cite is from Play Tessie on Twitter, where they had good conversations about the Red Sox organization, specifically Breslow and Kennedy, as well as the Alex Bregman entire situation, where he goes on to say, one of the 10 boxes Bregman checks, it's business. It's getting kids and families and fans in a huge steps forward in investing their fandom and their belief back into the Boston Red Sox. It's the end of the quote. And again, I couldn't agree more. And I apologize. The font is very, very tiny on my end. But again, the idea is the same. If Bregman is brought in to Boston, not only does he check boxes, he's a right-handed bat, versatile on the defense. He's a Gold Glove defensively. He can fill second base, which is a hard position to fill unless you have Ketel Marte. But again, there's a lot of things that he can check the box of, and he would be a great piece to this Red Sox organization and the team, not only next year, but for years to come, it seems like. And we're failing to do that. And not only are you failing to make this team better on the diamond, and again, but the fan base, the families, the fans, the people that are investing their time and their energy and just into this team are not, you're failing at bringing them in and hooking them in for this season and for years to come. Yes, we have a young upside. Yes, we have a young core with great ability. But again, Alex Bregman would only add to that. And right now, it's really looking like we're going to get burnt and beat in this game of chicken, and we are severely going to lose, and Bregman is going to return to the Houston Astros, making them even better than they were last year. Now, that's upsetting, and not what I want to report to you guys on this episode of Red Sox Digest, but that is, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.